If I was to do anything, my greatest fear is to never start. My greatest fear is not to fail, is to never start. I was born next to the river, and I'm talking about Madare River. 10 people in a family, living in a house, square house, thatched with sand and stone. M4J simply means made for Jesus, like its initial letter M, number 4, letter J. That's made for Jesus. And my official names are Bonnie Owino. I think it depicts my musical life and my personal life. Like Bonnie Owino is my official name, while M4J is the musical name. I was given this name by my fans as I was performing someday after church. And then one of the fans came and said, "Wow, that was a nice performance. And in fact, I think everything about you are just made for Jesus." So, made for Jesus. So I took it and said, yeah, made for Jesus, M4J. Back in high school, was in Nisili High School. And I used to be that aggressive guy. Like I could want to go dance when there were occasions, when there were school forums where it involves entertainment. I would be that guy who would go out there and start doing dancing styles and then I advanced into music. And since I was born in church, I grew up in church. I didn't want to let this waste away. So God placed in me a burden to sing and to minister through music. All my songs are my favorite songs, and I can't say there is a song that has really given me the bigger breakthrough than the other, because each and every song has been a breakthrough to producing the next song. So far, I have a couple of videos on my YouTube channel, and my first song was called Ukombali. Ukombali was inspired by Don Moen. I used to listen to Don Moen so much every morning. Like when I wake up and do my quiet time and pray, I used to listen to so much to Don Moen. So M4J was born in the streets of Madare, coming from a family of 7. That's mom, dad, my 2 brothers and 2 sisters. I was the third born, and then we were fortunate to be living with our cousins who were orphaned from the rural area. So my mom took refuge of them when they lost their parents, and that sums us up to I think 10 people in the family, living in a house, square house, thatched with sand and stone. And this room is the same room that served as our study room, was the kitchen, was the bedroom, and it's the same house that my mom used to do her meetings, her women group meetings. And life was from hand to mouth. I mean, my father used to do masonry. We call it mjengo back at home. Like he used to go work, come back with like $3, that is like 300 shillings, Kenyan shillings. And sometimes we could go without taking food, not because we didn't want to eat, but because there was nothing that could salvage everybody. So our house was just divided with a curtain that separated us from the parents' room. So houses in Madare are so congested, like they're close to each other. So, and outside the houses, you see sewer lines, drainage system passing just outside the houses. So sometimes if it rains so hard, the water drainage comes into the house, and we couldn't sleep. We could stand on top of our wooden stools. And I remember at some point, we used to take our t-shirts and my dad's simple coats and our school sweaters, tie them together and cover ourselves as a blanket, because we didn't have a worthy blanket in the family. So being born in Madare has really taught me a lot of things. Like, even though I was born in Madare, Madare was never born in me. Madare never existed in me. But God existed me from that place. I've seen it all. Our house was just next to the river that is very famous, called Madare River. And I really questioned my mom and asked her, how did we get to Madare? That's when I was really beginning to know that we are living in a slum. And one day my mom sat me down and told me she comes from a family that has no mom and dad. She's been an orphan. And when they met with my dad, life was really hard in the rural area, so they came to Nairobi. And the only cheaper place they could start staying with our firstborn sister was Madare. So that's how they ended up in Madare. And I felt so much pain when she told me that I was never born in a maternity. I was born next to the river. And I'm talking about Madare River. That is where he found my mom. Like, literally, it was hard for her, but there was no time for maternity. There was no time to go like lay in maternity and wait for me to be conceived. That day she was in the house, just sitting outside getting sun. And then it found her just next to that river. And that is where I was born. So born next to a river, and we were so many. So you can imagine transporting from born next to a river, being taken to the hospital, going through that process up to now. I can sit here and say that God is faithful and God has done so many things in my life. I remember when I was at home, one day the waters came raging. Like we experienced one of the worst rains ever, and that was El Nino. It swept our house away, and we had to go take refuge in church. So me, my daddy, my mama, and everybody, we went to church. Like, we slept there for a whole week. And everybody who was affected in the area, some of them went to the church, some of them didn't have anywhere to go because the church was full. So that's when I left home, because I couldn't sleep in church. I left home and went and joined my friends. I started living with my friends, staying with them. And I was able to join a bad company. So for me, it was like a plus, because I was able to subtract budget from my family, being away from home. Like, if they had something to buy food, they didn't put me a budget. So for me, it was like a plus to them. But I didn't know it was really ruining my life, because I came into bad company. We used to go outside with performers, scout performers, and we used to go ask money from people, tell them, hey, you know what, we are looking for money to go do camping somewhere. And it was not really true. And they used to give us money. And my friends were rogue. If we went into a club or into a petrol station or anywhere, they used to pick people's things and run with them. Until one day, it was really bad. I remember it was like 7 p.m. alongside Thika Road, when one of my friends snatched a phone from a nightclub, and then we started running. And at that moment, I was really struggling with going back at my mom's place and remaining in the streets. And I only used to want to do that because I wanted to help them. So as we were running, one of the policemen shot at us, and my friend fell down, and we were both down. And at that moment, everybody was dispersing because there were gunshots, and his blood splashed on me, like all of it splashed on me. So we were sleeping there, and the police were already closer. So if I could make any move, like getting off the ground and starting to run again, then they could take another shot on me. So we laid there, and for once I pretended to be dead. And they came after I think approximately 30 minutes. The police car came, and people came and pulled our bodies and put them in the police car. So we were taken to the morgues, they call it City Mortuary in Nairobi. So you can imagine, my friend was shot, his blood splashed on me. So I was shot too. So they take our bodies to the morgues. So we were put in the morgues, dumped. There were so many bodies. we are dumped there. And you know, it's scary, like chilled, like if I dare move, then I'm caught. And I'm scared being caught, because what will I tell my mom? What will I tell my brothers? What will I tell everybody? Like, oh my God, this is just blown up. So I stayed there, I think approximately a night and half of a day or something, until I got chance to get out of the morgue and run away. My company is in Nairobi. It's located in Nairobi City Center, Nairobi CBD, and I do graphics design on flyers, posters, business cards, logos, and all that creativity. So I also do printing and music video production, and you know, documentaries, weddings, and all that. I'm just into art. So that is my entrepreneurial life. So that is what I do apart from music, like, you know, and my company supports my foundation. My entrepreneurial skills in the next 10 years would be to nurture a young person who has an idea and want to execute that idea and doesn't know how to execute that idea, so that at least they can have something also, you know, to look up to. So let me say in the next 10 years, I will be helping someone else also to come up with a stable thing in the entrepreneur world. I have fallen short of glory of God so many times. There are days you sin and you are aware that you're sinning. Like, salvation does not mean that when you get saved, you start living a perfect life forever and ever. We are human beings, and sometimes you fall, you sin, you get yourself in that corner, and you're just like a tap, you've sinned. And God says that when you pray and seek forgiveness, He forgives you, but you don't sin so that you can be forgiven. So I have found myself in that situation several times. I have fallen short of the glory of God. Every time I get angry, every time I feel hatred towards comments or towards somebody, that is sin, that is falling short of glory of God. And the only thing I can do towards that is to try to revive love, so that I can help myself get out of that situation and ask God for forgiveness. If I was to describe my life with one word and sum it all, like with one word that has a meaning of everything that has gone around my life, ministry-wise and general life, I will just say the eagle. Yeah. My greatest fear is to never start. If I was to do anything, my greatest fear is to never start. My greatest fear is not to fail, is to never start. When you start, you can always succeed, but when you never start, that is a fear. It will never happen. So my greatest fear in life is to never start. Everybody has a story, everybody has a journey. Even though we are all driving in the same direction, it doesn't mean that we are going in the same destination. So for me, if my friend is making it bigger than me or is making moves than me, I will be happy for them and I will support them in that, and you know, celebrate them in that, because everything happens with chance for everybody. Like, everybody has a chance to do something in life. So my friends, they can do something, and instead of discouraging me, it gives me a boost even to work more harder, to do something either like them or something better than them. But it doesn't mean that we are competing. You know, when they do something and I'm left behind, it's always, in Swahili we say, ni changamoto. Like, inanisukuma mbele, nijaribu kufanya kama wao ama zaidi ya wao. Yeah. I'm here. You can find me here. Like, subscribe to my YouTube channel. That is M4J Music 254. The music is with a Q. M4J Music 254. That's letter M, letter 4, number J. Then music with a Q 254. That's my YouTube channel. And make sure you subscribe so that every time I release a new music or put up something, you can always know and be the first one to know. So Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and any other social media, just search M4J Music 254. Bado nangoja, bado nangoja, ombi langu kwako lifike. Ayo, this is M4J Mzeya, and you're watching Cross Culture TV by Refill Ministries, where we inspire, influence, and lead. Stay tuned. Usibonyeze kidude mzee.